Welcome to the High Volume Podcast.
Thanks.
Sir. Yes, glad to have you. Yeah?
What are you drinking?
Yeah. Jarritos, or as I say, Yarritos, tamarind.
I say Jarritos.
That's right, that's probably proper.
Yeah.
I'm French Canadian, so I don't speak Spanish.
I'm Buffalonian, so I speak Spanish.
Surprisingly, you are south of the border of Canada. All right, this is High Volume, and if you've seen it before, pretty much just a deep dive at a really fast pace.
Okay.
So very personal questions. I think you've seen the questions before.
I've heard them, not
You've heard
seen.
them. Okay, not seen. All right, well, you can think on the fly. I should have probably sent them to you before, but that's okay.
It's okay. I'm quick on my feet, except when I'm not.
Yeah, you know what you're about.
Yeah.
All right, 10 minutes, get through as many of these questions as possible. There are 10 questions, so
Okay.
at a pace of a minute a question, then we're good. If not, then it is what it is.
All right, locking in.
And then after that, it'll be 5 minutes, 5 things that got you where you are today. Then 5 minutes, 5 things that'll get you where you want to go. And then 10 minutes to delve into your most important issue, whatever it is you want to cover.
Okay, so how many minutes is this? 30?
It's 30 total.
Okay.
But sometimes it usually goes quicker because not everybody has 10 minutes of things to say, and not everybody takes 10 minutes to do the answers.
Oh, I'll ramble all you need me to if you
Okay.
want to just fill it in.
Well, we need time for your podcast, but we'll ramble some more.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, let's go. It's about 2:11. Here we go. First, what's your one thing?
Land.
Land. Perfect. Buying land, selling land?
Yes.
All right, great.
I wholesale it. I also buy it and develop it and then sell it.
Perfect. What's your Mount Everest?
I am developing the most sophisticated yet easy to use AI-based platform for real estate people.
And land.
And land. It does. That is part of it. It's
Yeah.
a small aspect of it.
Yeah.
What I like about my Mount Everest is that it can help in all forms of real estate, and I'm a get drawn in all the shiny objects type of person.
Aren't
and
we
so, yeah, that's kind of my way of being able to help and be a part of things without actually having to be directly part of them.
Nice, nice. So, what are you most proud of?
I'm proud of everything
Everything.
ever that I've done.
Perfect.
But I'm most proud of my work ethic and my sticking to my word. When I say that I'm going to do something, I'll do it.
All right. I like that. I agree. What's your deepest regret?
Buying a house in the Outer Banks.
That has been a struggle. Is it sold yet?
No, I'm working on it.
Okay.
I have some people that are super excited about it, but never ready to actually buy it.
Yep,
So, just while I do regret it, it taught me a lot of things. Like, one, just because you can make something a deal doesn't mean it's a deal for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to operate short-term rentals. I don't want to deal with all that turnover and everything. Like, even if you get a property management company in there, there's just all that uncertainty of the market and the uncertainty of what guest are you going to get in there that
Yeah.
day. Because right now I'm banned from Airbnb because I had one guest who was unhappy that there was dirt in the pool and he left me 1 stars on everything.
That's pretty aggressive.
And
There you go. Well, good job on being an excellent host. Your time is up.
yeah, time to be done.
What would you tell your middle school self?
Don't go to college.
You went to college?
Yeah.
And what did you study?
Computer science and digital media arts.
But you're using it, right?
Yes, but I also could have learned a lot of what I know just by like watching YouTube videos or going through courses or taking like Harvard or MIT's free computer science courses. So yeah, it was just an expensive and very structured way of learning the fundamentals of computer science,
Yep.
which were very based in the past. Technology is always changing, and that includes the underlying coding languages, and we were doing a lot of old school stuff. We were looking at assembly languages.
Very
which is,
practical
like,
with vibe coding.
And so, yeah, especially with the way that AI has made it easier than ever to create an application. Maybe not the most secure or
Yeah.
actually robust application, but on the surface looks really good and gets you a huge head start. And the way technology has changed regardless of AI, like I basically retaught myself a bunch of code that
Yeah.
I didn't learn in school at all. So,
Yep. Sounds like my college experience.
Yeah.
'Cause I did programming too.
Yep.
What mindset have you changed in recent years?
I believe that one day I can buy a plane.
Brilliant. That's a good mindset to have.
Yeah. Not that I want to buy a plane, but I could.
That's the problem. We have
It's
to change that
possible.
part of your mindset first. When did you feel like giving up, and what did you do instead?
Gosh, I hate harping on this Outer Banks house, but it's like the most pertinent to this question is at the beginning of this year when I was dealing with the headaches of insurance. The property flooded last year, insurance not going well, my contractor being very slow and hard to actually get to do stuff, all of that stuff, and having to make mortgage payments, expensive mortgage payments with that going on, not being able to rent it out, so no income coming in, all of that coming to a head and just feeling like, oh,
Yeah.
that. And what did I do? I reminded myself of certain things that at the end of the day, I'm not gonna care about this in
Yeah.
5, 10 years.
Yep.
The only way that this would be a failure at the end of the day is if I actually did give up. So
Correct.
so don't give up. And
That's right.
so I scrounged up the money I needed to get it to where it needed to be, went out there in person, lived there for a few weeks, and got it done. That got me a few good months of revenue. And then I got banned, so now kind of back in the same spot, but I won't give up.
That's right.
We're working on it.
Never give up, never
Yep.
surrender. What's a small decision you made that unexpectedly changed everything?
So, about 2022, I was wholesaling houses, not very well. I was doing everything myself, and I'm not much of a negotiator. I don't really like conflict, and I feel like in a cash, especially house wholesale transaction, it's a very you against me. I need my price. You want your price. Well, if we're going to get this under contract for something that I can buy and or wholesale, I'm going to win, you're going to lose. And that's not really the way that,
Yep.
I am. And so, not the best luck or the best ability to get that type of property under contract. And so I was having mostly success with creative stuff and getting them under contract myself and buying them myself, because that's a very I can help you to get out of pain or gain type situation. But buying houses, unless you're like a ninja like you and who gets paid to buy houses, doesn't, build active income very
I will
well.
give them to you too if you would like to buy some
It
in
gives-
Maine.
Maine? How about Buffalo?
Not yet.
All of that to say is that trying to wholesale a cash house didn't go so well for me.
Yep.
But then I had a friend who lives up in Raleigh, North Carolina, reach out to me. He needed help with a property in Spartanburg, which is right outside of Greenville, where we live. And he just needed help signing a contract. He had been marketing to the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and ended up getting in touch with this elderly couple, like 95 years old, and he was trying to buy their house, and they're like, no, we're not going to sell our house. Like, this is where we live. We're going to be here until the day we die, and that's probably coming pretty soon. So not the house, but we got 18 acres in Spartanburg that we'll sell you. And he didn't know anything about land. And he's like, that seems like a good price. And so he wanted to get under contract. They're very old, didn't know how to use DocuSign. I don't know if they knew how to use a computer.
Whoa.
So he needed someone to meet them in person, which I was happy to do. I went and drove to the Spartanburg Library, met with this elderly couple, got the contract signed. And as I had been printing out the contract, I was like, oh, I think he made a mistake. There's no street numbers on these. It was just the streets. And so before I met with them, I asked my friend, like, what's going on here? And he's like, oh, it's land. Oh, I didn't know you did land. He's like, I don't, but it seems like a good deal. And we got it. Like, okay, that's cool. Happy to be your boots on the ground. And I thought that was it. Sent them back to him. And he, about a week later, calls me up and he's like, hey, as already established, I don't know anything about land. And I especially don't know anything about land in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Can you help me? And I said, no, I can't. However, being local, I at least knew some people and knew some people who knew some people. I was like, I can at least give it a shot. I've heard about people doing new construction, wanting to build houses in the area, so I'll try. And if I knew what I knew now about land, I would have been like, oh, no one wants to build a house on this thing. This is like middle of nowhere. And I would have marketed it as like recreational land or something like that. But regardless of my poor marketing, did find a buyer within 7 days.
Wow.
We closed on it 7 days later. And the process was so much simpler than a house. I didn't have to worry about like showings, where tenants, termites. Is there some problem the seller either lied about or wasn't aware of? Like we could just find all that stuff out via the county. I didn't know how to do that on the county, but my buyer could, and I could just say, "Go out, look at it," and that's it. Like so much easier. And so that gave me the hunch. Well, maybe the acquisition side is a little easier as well. So the one decision was, yeah, I'll be your boots on the ground and get a contract signed for you.
And thus now, your life has changed.
And now I do land.
Brilliant. I love it. All right. Well, we didn't make it to the last 2 questions.
I talk too much.
No, it's fine. We'll have plenty of time in your podcast. The last 2 questions, I'll just tell you what they are, but we're not going to go through them. Who are you when the spotlight is off? And if you were sitting in my seat, what question would you ask? So next up, 5 minutes for 5 things that got you where you are today. And we've kind of gone into that. Do you have anything else to add to that? Things that got you where you are today?
Being willing to take a little bit of risk. Not growing up very wanting to do things by the book and safe. I moved to Greenville having never visited Greenville before. I was just like, I got a seller financing deal. I want to move somewhere else. Let's try it. Worst case, I hate it, and I move back, or I move somewhere else. And so I take a similar approach with many things, Airbnb being one of them, and didn't turn out so well, but lesson learned, it's not the end of the world.
You have all that experience now.
Yeah.
Like, for if you ever see somebody else going into it wandering,
Yep.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Sell it to Chad instead. It's a terrible mistake. So, and what are the 5 things that will get you to where you want to go next?
5?
Well, I say 5 minutes, 5 things, but get what you want in there. Or do you have an idea of like where you want to go, your Mount Everest and all that, but like what's going to get you there?
Like the activities that will get me there?
Activities, mindsets, money, deals, partners.
Yeah. So money is always a big thing in business and real estate in particular. You need money to get deals done.
Yes.
And as much as I have liked and enjoyed structuring some pretty good creative deals where you can get into them with not a whole lot of money, it still takes some money to get into them, and sometimes a good bit of money, and you run out of your own reserves pretty quickly.
Yep.
And there are only so many people willing to lend on your deals unless you really go out there and try to build those relationships. And even still, like a lot of creative deals, people end up in second position, maybe a little precarious of a situation. And I don't want to ask anyone to lend on something that I wouldn't lend on myself if I had lots of money to lend out. And so kind of changing my thoughts on, like, maybe I should put some of my, like, work on building up my active income so I just do have more money to put into things. Because the money that I've been putting into deals myself has very much been like reserves. And I haven't done the best job of building up my active income. Now, my land business, that's one solution to that. Over the past year and a half, going back almost 2 years ago, I was doing pretty well out by myself, just kind of learning things, but making like little like base hits, a couple grand here, a couple then there, and like so nothing crazy. And then I got into land with a couple partners, and that didn't go perfectly. And there were, quite a few of us, and so you do some deals, and you have to split that between multiple people, and it's like all of a sudden that $20,000 assignment. Well, also we have to take off business expenses. We're splitting it between multiple people. It's like, how much money did I just make there? Not a whole lot. And so kind of hitting my stride on the land side and actually doing some deals, stripping back from like having a whole bunch of partners and just focusing on doing the right things steadily, consistently myself with one other partner, that's it, is starting to make that active income actually good and decent, where I can feel confident about being able to have my own capital to put into deals, and slowly work myself up to be like really bankable, so I can just as much as people who know you, lots of people who know you are very in the creative real estate world, as much as we love the idea of never using a bank, like having the bank on your side can be pretty helpful and powerful.
It's pretty affordable compared to Gator rates.
Yeah, so getting myself in a better, just like liquid position.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan. I've been there and still am. So 10 minutes to delve into your most important issue, whatever you want to talk about. Anything, whatever you care, when people say, what do you want to talk about? And it's like, first thing that comes to your mind, I love talking about this.
The first thing.
Or it can be the second thing, it's up to you.
But I want it to be important. And maybe the most important things aren't what come to my mind initially.
That's fine. Some people, have hobbies that are like random, and they love that thing, and to the rest of the world, it's completely unimportant.
This isn't like, definitely not the first thing that comes to my mind. Maybe as of late it has been, but let's talk about the Bible. Do you have any thoughts on it? Should I start rambling about it?
No, yeah. It's God's word, infallible, preserved, inspired, truth for our lives. Yeah. Opening thoughts.
I like it. So the reason I bring it up is that I'm currently reading it. I've been reading about a chapter a day.
Nice.
Very slow. I didn't realize until a few weeks ago that puts me at reading the entire Bible in about 3.5 years.
It's pretty good.
Very long.
Yeah, takes a moment.
And I grew up a cradle Catholic. Went to Mass every week, kind of going through the motions just because that's what I'm told to do. And never had actually read the Bible before. The stories and ideas from it are familiar to me, but
they don't have you like memorize it or like read it together?
No.
What?
Not at my school anyway. Like,
you went to Catholic school?
Yeah, I went to a Catholic.
They didn't have
Catholic
you read
school.
the Bible at Catholic school?
No.
What?
We got bits and pieces, and I could probably off the top of my head give you the general idea of a lot of parables and the story, the Passion of Christ, like just in general. But there's a lot of nuance and detail and time-based context that isn't captured in just what people think about the Bible. There's a lot of misconceptions. And so actually reading it and reading it with some insight from some scholars and people that are included in the version of the Bible I'm reading has opened my eyes. I'm like, this has a lot of good and actionable ideas in it. And just making it a practice, reading it daily, even if it is just a part where it's very chronological, like explaining this
the beginning of Matthew
happened.
or Leviticus or something. Yeah.
Even if it's that, like it still has some kind of an importance to it because the reason it's there, and it's a very makes me feel hopeful that there's more to just worrying about my Airbnb or I had to cancel a contract on a land deal or something. Like I'm doing all these things and fighting through it for something bigger and better. And so I've always kind of had that idea in my head, and why I want to go out and do good things and help other people. But it's the Bible is kind of teaching me that it's not enough to just say you're a good person or want to do those things, but actually go do them, or else it's words don't mean a lot.
And why you do them is super important. So I've been having a lot more. That's actually, I've grown up in a Christian home, Baptist, my whole life, basically. My whole family got saved when I was 7. And then I went to Christian school after homeschooling for a while, and then I went to Christian college, and I worked at a Christian camp overseas and another Christian camp here. I worked for a Christian institution here. Worked for Christian employers until now I work for myself, and now I'm working with people who aren't all Christian or say they are Christian or some strange, interesting, unique twists on faith. So that's been interesting, and I talk to my wife about it a lot. So we talk a lot about, I'm going to be opening up a can of worms if I say some things. Mormonism is one topic that I talk about a lot with Sarah because we're studying there's a pastor out in Salt Lake, somewhere north of Salt Lake. I think it's in Provo or something. And they have a whole, disc series where you get to go through and how to interact with Mormons because they're of a particular, they believe they're Christians, and they, in most world classifies them as because, they read the Bible, but they also have the Book of Mormon. And when you start talking with them and interacting with them from just a strictly Bible basis, you realize that it's not the same beliefs at all, which is interesting. So Sarah and I have been talking about that a lot in the context of working with, Mormons, and then also working with just all these other different subsets. Because within our community of Sub 2, there's a lot of people who want to really do good, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then there's where's the basis for that truth, and why you do that. And going through a lot of hard things reveals where people's basis is. Trevor and I have talked about this a lot. Or Steven, he's stuck in a deal. And he's I want to be out of it. I want to not lose this money. I don't want working with these people. I've had some things going on that I'm working with some people. And it's like you said, at the end of the day, years down the road, you're not going to remember that thing. It feels important at that time. It feels like it's the only thing that's going on. It's not necessarily there's a time frame to that where it's going to be expired. It's not going to be as important. If you lose 40 grand now, it's a lot of money. But when you're 70 and you're retired and you have whatever you've got from all this experience, you're going to be oh, well, that was just part of the learning experience, and 40 grand is not that much to you. Yep. But then when you go through the context of what the more important thing is, the human relationship that you have and your relationship with God and with Christ, I was reminding Trevor of this. We were talking about this, and I was this to me is just the prologue. We're just leading up to the beginning of the story of eternity that opens chapter 1. I saw a new heaven and a new earth descend, and Christ on the right hand of God, and we rule with him forever in eternity. That's the story. This is just the opening act, laying out all the characters. Here's the premise of why we get to where we go. So in the context of looking at that in paradise, this shrinks down. It's super important. It matters, but we need to be in the context of why it matters. So keep
Love
reading.
that. Yeah.
Super exciting.
Yeah. And I think your mindset behind it, why do you act or want what you do, and how you act is, again, more important than just like what you read or what you say, because you said it, you work with people who's like, they're Christians, but like, what does that mean? Like, they go to Mass, or maybe they read the Bible, but those in their own right, that's not the thing. They help and they're important, but it's kind of internalizing it and then going out into the world so that you live your prologue in a way that gets you onto that next chapter.
Correct. Yeah, super important stuff. Anything else to add?
Jesus was a real subversive guy. That is all.
That's great. I kind of think of, when you say that word subversive, I also think of like Paul.
Yeah, I'm reading about Paul right now.
Yeah, when he's in there, he's like, brothers, I'm unsure of the resurrection, and he gets the Sanhedrin or the Pharisees and Sadducees to fight, and like books it out of there. I'm like, man, that's really smart. But it's good.
Yeah, so today what I read was Paul's letter to the Romans, the very beginning of it, and he says, "I am not ashamed about the gospel," which in our very modern, we have softened and maybe even kind of like glorified this image of a crucifixion, Jesus dying on the cross. Like, oh, that's such a nice, like, he did such a good thing. And it's like, so, well, yes, it's good for us and what it means, what Jesus went through. But for that time period, people, like, that's horrifying. Like, that would have been like the most insulting thing to do to any person, would be to just crucify them and let them slowly die.
Yeah.
And so at that time, Paul, like, to say, I'm not embarrassed by that at all, like, that my Lord and Savior, that happened to him, because what it really meant is so much more.
Yep.
And so, it's a lot of deep meaning that you wouldn't pick up unless you kind of get yourself into that world. And
it's very important to be reading it, and not just hearing it from other people. And that's what my school, my Christian school, my high school, and college, like, they required us to read through the whole Bible as part of the curriculum. But even our pastors at our church always, I think they're rolling out a corporate discipleship program to kind of, discipleship's a huge element in the New Testament church. You see that it's like, go make disciples, which is like sitting down, talking with people, going through the Bible with them, and seeing how each other lives out their faith. And it's sad that a lot of people, like you said, out there, they just have an idea of what it is, and they'll, happy to fling a Bible verse at something, but not, fully understanding the context of what it means and how important some of those, like even the crucifixion, like you said, the cross, and there's this dumbing down of the hard truth of why Christ did that. And then, there's this stripping away of, especially in American society, we don't want to think about death. We remove hell from a lot of stuff as a practical reality. We remove a lot of things, like, what are the implications of the Bible? And people are like, we don't really want to know, but we're happy to chuck a few of these holy scriptures at, whatever's going on in our life, and then move on about your day. It's like, no, it has, you don't live forever here, somewhere else. Yeah. It's very important. So,
it's funny. You say making new disciples or evangelizing to some extent. It's an important part. And in the past, you asked me the question, what's an important thing for you to talk about? I would have been like, land. Like, let's keep talking about land. But
what else is there to talk about?
Yeah, like that would have been my response. Like, maybe it's not the most important thing in my mind, but also I would think, well, who wants to hear me talk about God and Jesus and the Bible? Like, that's the classic joke. Like, I'm here to talk to you about Jesus. It's like no one wants that, but no, it's important. Like, even if one person listens to this and they're like, maybe I'll check into it. Like, that's an important thing. So I've definitely, in reading the Bible and coming to that realization, have kind of stepped out of my shell of wanting to be like, no one really cares. I'm just going to stick to myself and just yeah, let's talk about the Bible.
It's super important, and I think a lot of people are looking for it, especially in a world of hurt. On that side of it, people don't have God. And then on the side where people do, they are coming up with questions. I've talked to several other people, even in Owners Club, where they're like, I'm joining this mentorship to talk about faith and business. They're like, how do I do it? And now I've kind of, that's been the biggest realization for me over the past month is like, I initially was going to be a missionary on the field. That didn't work out because I was just like, this doesn't really work for me. And I've always assisted with missionaries. We go overseas and we work, we've worked in several different countries as a family and individually. But then now where I'm at, it's like all business and it's consuming. And then I get that picture of like, hey, wait a minute, this is my mission field, to be working with these people and being like, obviously telling them, but I'm not going out there and be like, hey, knocking on your door and telling you like, here's the Bible, you got to read it, but living it out. And that shows up very different, I think, in your life when you're following truth. You have that truth and you're proclaiming it through your words and actions, and people see something different because you can see the people who don't actually have that basis when things are going awry. I think that's like one of the biggest ways that you can start building, I don't know, I want to say God's marketing plan, but that's not what it is. It's like, it's God wants a relationship with everyone.
The greatest Ponzi scheme of all time.
The greatest Ponzi scheme where all you have to do is believe in Christ as your Savior and you can get to live with God forever. The end. Like, it's funny because everybody wants to think it's so much. You need to do all this work and stuff. It's like, it's not that, you just have to put yourself aside, realize, here I did the work. So here I did the sacrifice. That's hard for people. So, there's a lot of good stuff. I think it's important because there are a lot of people. I was talking to somebody in OC just a couple of days ago, and they're like, I don't know what to do about my faith and business, and you want to be careful. And you're like, oh no, what if like they shut me down? Like I know somebody in our church, they run a program where they set up stuff in foster, as the state has places where people come into, kids come into their between houses, and so they set up these landing sites for nice rooms for the kids to just stay in transition to another family in the foster program. And somebody's like, you could get a lot more for this if you just kind of stop talking about God and Christ and your faith in it. It's like, that's the entire reason we do it. We're not going to stop. So be a light and help lead other business owners to do the same.
Yeah. What good is more money if it is hindering your ultimate goal? Like the point of money is to facilitate the goal. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's been excellent. On to round 2 on his podcast.
Read your Bible.
That's right.
Bright lights hum like a secret untold. Questions sharp as diamonds cold. We dive into the gold, the grit, the grind, the grind. 7 figures, 7 tales. We explore behind the doors, behind the roar. What makes them tick, what keeps them sore. Welcome to the climb, we're here for more.